Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
That's me, Tiberius!
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I am your host, Tiberius Boy! And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's case is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a TV host. Do you have any idea what a TV host does? Well, I think I have a pretty good idea, but let's find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Cindy Witteman!
Hello.
Nice to see you. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun already.
No problem. Okay, so you are the host of the Little Give TV show. Can you explain to my listeners exactly what you do?
I actually highlight ordinary people doing extraordinary things to help others via the TV show, which airs in 127 countries.
Wow. I didn't know there were that many countries in the world. Well, what sparked your interest in having your own TV show?
Well, it's actually a funny story. I never thought I would be a TV show host. In fact, I have a terrible fear of public speaking.
So
Well, with, with much convincing, this mommy-daughter duo with She Rises Studios started a TV show network called Phoenix TV, and they were looking for new hosts, and they had brought me the idea, and of course I said no. And then they said, well, what if we let you pick your own show title? And what if we let you make the show however you want it? And what if we let you name your own show? And what if we let you pick your own guests? Eventually, they just removed all obstacles, and I had no choice but to say yes. And I knew right away that if it could be something that I could do to highlight other people who are out there making this world a great place, I just had to say yes.
Okay, so who were your role models in the TV industry that motivated you?
You know, I really don't have many role models when it comes to TV. I really emulate my dad. My dad is like somebody who I think he has always taught me to do the right thing no matter what, and just always try to elevate others. And as you grow and get better and do more, you bring people with you. So I would have to say it's my dad. I know he's not a famous TV star or anything, but he's famous to me.
Okay, well, can you explain what your show is about?
Yes, actually, we highlight a lot of nonprofits. There's a ton of nonprofits out there that are just out there doing these amazing things to help others. They're really excited about their mission, but unfortunately, when you start a nonprofit, you don't have this big old budget, hence the nonprofit part. You really want all that money to go back to the members who you're trying to help, all of these individuals who need assistance in whatever way your nonprofit gives it. You don't want to be spending a bunch of money on marketing. And so my show really highlights these nonprofits for zero cost to really help give them that little bit of marketing they necessarily don't have the money to spend.
Well, why is this subject so dear to your heart?
Well, actually, it kind of goes back many years ago. I actually was a single mom, and I ended up working 2 jobs and putting myself through college, and I struggled a lot through that. And after I got kind of on the other side of it, I knew I really wanted to get back and help others. And so I started a nonprofit, which I know we're going to get into a bit later. And that is really where it sparked a lot for me, especially when it came to doing this TV show, is because I, like all those other nonprofits, I don't want to spend all the money that we raise, paying for marketing or paying executives to help grow my nonprofit to get me more donors. And so I know how hard it is to really get the word out about what you're doing. And what is a good nonprofit if nobody knows about it? And so that's really what sparked it in me to want to help other nonprofits grow for free.
Okay, well, what is the best part about being a TV show host?
The people I get to meet, just like yourself, I get to meet all these incredible people from around the world. The news can really make it look so bad out there, and it can be really fear instilling. And I like the fact that we're able to shine a positive light on all the wonderful people that are really here every day working hard to make it a better place.
So if I want to watch you on TV, where do I go to watch your show?
Well, there's lots of places you can watch it. You can go to phoenix.app on your regular computer or your phone, or you can go on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. You can download the app, and you can access all of my episodes there. That little gift.
Well, what is one thing that you think kids should know about being a TV show host?
I think they should know they can do it. Like if I could do it, like anybody can do it. I have a fear of public speaking. I hate the way I look on camera. It drives me crazy how I'm always like smiling and so positive, and all of these little things that we all look at ourselves and worry about. They're really just a waste of your time. Like stop worrying. Anybody can do it if they have a desire to.
Okay. Now, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we are back here talking with Cindy Witteman. Not only is she on TV, but she also runs a nonprofit helping single parents. Now, Cindy, when did you decide to start a nonprofit?
Actually, it's another really funny story. Like I said, I was a single mom and I was just working really hard. I had gotten myself to a better place, and I wanted to initially do childcare to help other single parents because I knew that although my struggles were real, that there were other people who were out there struggling more than me. And so I was trying to figure out what kind of nonprofit I wanted to start. And at first, I really wanted to focus on childcare. But childcare is something that a lot of people assume government assistance. If you're having a struggling time, government assistance will pay for it. But what they don't know is there are some programs, but unfortunately, those programs have long waiting lists and limited funding. And so, but people don't realize that. And again, what is a good nonprofit if nobody wants to donate to it? So unfortunately, I had to pivot. So I spent some more time really brainstorming on what my second need was. Like, what was my second need if it wasn't childcare? And I was literally at dinner one night and I stood up at the table and I was like, that's it. I'm going to give away cars to single parents. And my fiance at the time, he's a lawyer. And immediately he was like, Cindy, yeah, sit down. Yeah, you are not giving away cars. That is like the biggest liability you could possibly think of. Like, no. So I listened to him very intently. And I went home that night and I built the website and I built the business plan, and we gave away our first car less than a month later.
Wow. Well, what's the best part about hearing about the successes of the people that you have helped?
Oh my goodness. It is so rewarding, not just for me, but it's so rewarding for our entire board to really get to see all of these individuals and how well they've done. For example, we gave a vehicle to Latika back in 2020. And when Latika received that vehicle, she actually, she needed it so bad. She worked 2 jobs and she was just doing all of these great things. And eventually she went ahead and got herself into a better place. Then she decided to give that vehicle to another single parent. And so on July 8th of this year, we were able to give that single parent another vehicle. So it was like a full circle moment where not only did Latika join our board to give back to single parents and do all the great things she's already done to help out, but she also went above and beyond and gave that car we gave her to somebody else once she got on a better side of her success.
Wow. Okay, back to TV. How do you prepare for an episode or interview? Like, what is your research and scripting process?
So I really don't research and I really don't script. I ask 2 questions, sometimes 3 questions every episode. Other than that, the episodes are very organic. I just listen to the guests and just go off of what they have to say. And I'm just a naturally curious person. So I'm thinking whatever they're saying, if I have a question, the audience probably has one too. So I'll just ask those questions to kind of follow through the interview. The 3 questions I ask almost all of my guests are, 1, can you give the audience an example of a little thing that they can do in their community that might just be a little give on their end, but might make a big impact on the other side? So that's one. And then the other one is, can you give the audience an example of a time in your life where maybe somebody did something nice for you that was just a little give on their end, but really made an impact on you and in your life? And so those 2 questions are really to stimulate the listener to know that there's something that they could do right now today, an action item that could actually improve somebody else's day. So that's one. And the other one is to say that even if in that moment you do something for somebody else, you don't get the recognition right then and there, You never know. They might be on a TV show 13 years later telling that very story. So it's just really to inspire people to continue to be kind, continue to give back, and continue to do those little things. And the other one is I always ask the guests if they have a nonprofit that they're excited about, whether it be their own or someone else's.
Well, what is the most misunderstood part about your business?
I think people think it's really hard, and I think that you can make it harder than what it needs to be. So that's what I would say. I would say anything that you're doing in your life, if it's making you feel stressed or not fun or exciting, then maybe you could pivot a little bit and change it up, whether it be changing the way your TV show runs or changing what you're doing in your everyday life. There's a power in the pivot, and we can all change things to make it where our life is enjoyable and fun every day.
Okay, well, what do you believe sets a great TV show host apart from the rest?
Well, I don't really know. I think it's all about beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So it's all about the viewer. So depending on who your viewer is and your target audience is, it could change whether that person be someone like me who's just, chatty naturally and very curious and likes to just lead through the conversation based on what the guest is saying. Other people might really want a really scripted show. So I really just think it depends on your particular viewer.
Okay, well, does it take a lot of training to be a good TV show host?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Does it take a lot of training to be a good TV show host?
No, I don't really think so. I think that if you want to be a good TV show host, you just got to really enjoy yourself and bring on guests that you really are naturally curious about and do what you're passionate about. And if you do those things, there's a big power in your passion. And so then that will bleed through to the people who are receiving the information you're providing.
Okay, well, are there any dream guests or projects that you hope to interview on your show?
Oh my goodness, I would love to interview lots of people, but I would think Oprah Winfrey would be really cool to interview just because she's done so much philanthropy throughout her life. There's so many people like that are so inspirational. And there's been also just that person who just had an idea one day at dinner and jumped up and started a nonprofit that night. Just anyone who has a story to share. I think that is my favorite guest.
Okay, well, what was the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your passion?
Geez, I have so many passions. The craziest thing that's happened while I was doing my passion. That's a very good question. I would probably say having my cat jump into my TV show episodes.
Okay. What was the hardest part about working and producing and hosting your TV show?
Again, I'm going to go with not hard at all because I feel like it's not hard for me because it's something that I really, really enjoy. So it's almost like some people really enjoy traveling or they really enjoy, journaling or they really enjoy having, a cocktail on the waterfront, whatever they may enjoy. They enjoy it so much, they love it. And that's kind of what I do in my daily is everything I do, I make sure it's something that I enjoy.
Okay, well, who can you say was the person that helped drive your passion the most?
Probably my dad. Again, my dad is just somebody who's always taught me to always do the right thing. And I think no matter what I do, he's always super proud of me, but he's also willing and able to push me in a direction if I need to be pushed.
Ah, okay. Well, can you share some advice for aspiring TV shows who are looking to break into the industry, like me?
I would definitely say you can do it. You can not only can you do it, but you can do it right now. It's something that you can really do if you decide that is what you want to do. We can hop off this call and I can tell you all the ways to get it done as quickly as you can imagine.
Okay. Well, what is the best advice you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
The best advice I've ever received is somebody saying that they say the sky is the limit, and that's not true. Actually, you are the limit. And so that was told to me by Hannah Olivas, who is the founder and CEO of She Rises Studios. And I think that's so true because all growing up, everybody always said, the sky's the limit. Well, I'm also a pilot in progress. Well, the sky really isn't the limit. So there's so many other ways that we can grow and do more if we put our mind to it. And so I think by her sharing that wisdom with me that actually I'm the limit, it's whenever I decide I can't do something, that's whenever it really is a limit.
Okay. What was the very first job you've ever had?
The very first guest I ever had?
Job.
Oh, job. Oh, yes. I was actually a housekeeper. Was my very first job. I was 16 years old and one day, and I got a job as a housekeeper at a hotel.
Wow.
It was awful.
Oh, okay. Well, was there anything you learned from that job that how to be a better TV show host?
Well, there is something I learned from that job. I never want to do it again. And so, in never wanting to do it again and realizing that's not something that's for me, a lot of people do it. A lot of people really enjoy it. It's not for me. And so then it was, well, what is for me? So it taught me to evaluate what is for me and what is not for me, and always go to that side. Whatever makes me fueled and passionate, excited, that is where I try to put my intention and my
Okay,
time.
well, what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
I want to tell them that you can do anything that you want to do. If you decide that you want to be a TV show host, you want to be a radio talk show host, you want to write a book, you want to go to Cancun, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it.
Okay, well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills. And we are back here with Sydney Whitman, TV show host and best-selling author. Okay, so what is one thing you wish you knew before starting your TV show?
I think I wish I would have believed in myself a little bit more. Initially, whenever I was offered the opportunity, like I mentioned, I was like, me? Like, are you kidding? Like, I have zero experience. Zero. Like, I know nothing about this. And now all of a sudden, I'm not only supposed to like figure out what kind of show I'm going to have, I'm
Huh.
supposed to figure out how to produce it. I was supposed to figure out how to do all of these things. Like, I was supposed to figure out how to get people to watch me. What? Why would I do that? So I think believing in myself is really, it could have made my job a lot easier, because in the very beginning when I first started the show, and if you ever go back to watch my episode 1, you'll see a very nervous, very scared Cindy, like a deer in the headlights, not really enjoying the process as much because I was so focused on how is everything looking? How does everything going? Am I saying the right thing? Are they saying the right thing? Should I, all of these things in my head, instead of being in that moment and really enjoying, like, oh my goodness, this is the first episode of something that's going to be great.
Okay, well, how do you balance your public TV persona with your personal life?
I am the same person all the time, whether people like it or not. I'm really the same person. So it's not difficult for me to do one or the other, because I'm not an actress and I don't really act at all. I just be authentic me.
Okay, well, what is that one thing that happened in your business that you did not expect?
In my business or my TV show?
Business.
In my business, I'm not expecting. Okay. I would say that the heights I've been able to soar. I
Mm.
grew up super, super poor. We didn't have running water or electricity sometimes. I lacked a lot of the basic necessities. I had very little clothing. I had so many things that didn't go right for me when I was growing up. So if you would have told little 9-year-old Cindy or 10-year-old Cindy where I am today, I wouldn't believe you. And so I would say that I've been able to soar to heights that even I surprise myself on a daily basis by simply just believing in myself.
Huh, okay. So you were also listed as a best-selling author. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, another one of those weird opportunities. I had founded the nonprofit and I was going along with that. We've been giving away cars for 6 years now, and a little over 6 years now. And somebody approached me and said, "Hey, Cindy, would you like to be in this book collaboration with me?" And of course, I said, "No, I have a fear of public speaking. I don't know anything about writing, and you've got to be out of your mind."
I
And
see.
she said, "No, no, through all of your, work with driving single parents, I really think that you'd be a great person in this book with me." And so the name of the book is Shattering the Stigma of Single Motherhood. So after saying no, I kind of went back to the drawing board and thought about it. And I thought, I really do want to shatter the stigma of single motherhood or single parenthood in general, just because so many people look at it as a negative. And I'll tell you that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what I really want to be today? A single parent. Nobody does that. So really, it's a lot of tragedy that causes single parenthood. It could be, a cancer diagnosis or a car accident, or it could be domestic violence. There's so many ways that we become single parents. And so I thought, well, you know what? If I write in this book and it could really help somebody else see that your past doesn't define you, and that and maybe somebody will read it and say, you know what, I never looked at it that way. Like I never really thought of a single parent in this way, that maybe I could help somebody. So I decided to do that book, and it became an international bestseller. And then I got offered another book opportunity, which was kind of another collaboration that was all about overcoming self-sabotage. And again, I thought, no way, like, how am I going to do this? But it spoke to me. Wow, if I could get somebody else to believe in themselves like I've learned to, they could really see their own potential. So again, I'll put myself to the side to try to give to someone else. And so that's how I did that book. So now, and I'm writing another book that comes out October the 10th. And so just always just going and growing. And my main mission in life is really to help people and for people to see their own worth and know that they can if they put their mind to it.
Okay, well, where can people find your book?
They can find my books on Amazon, or they can just go to my website at cfviews.com. We have all of the books there.
If you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Stop limiting yourself. You can do it.
Okay, well, what was the biggest mistake you have ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
What was the biggest decision I've ever made?
The biggest mistake you've ever
The
made?
biggest mistake I've ever made. I don't know. I don't really know, because I feel like all of the things that I've done, despite that they've been hard at times and not worked out the way that I thought they should, they really taught me so much. So I don't really see any of my past as a mistake. I see most of it as stepping stones and things that taught me how to be and things that taught me how not to be.
Yeah. So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I love to travel. I have 6 kids and 3 grandkids. So I love spending time with my family. Again, traveling. I'm a beekeeper. So I have lots of hobbies. I like to fly if time permits. So that's pretty much it.
Wow. So do you play video games? And if you do, what is your favorite one?
I do not play video games, but my son, he's 10 years old. He loves video games.
Ooh.
He plays on the Oculus. He plays on the Xbox. He plays on the Switch. He plays every kind of game you can imagine. His phone, his iPad, anything that has a game, he loves it.
Wow. Well, what is your favorite book to read then that you have not written?
Oh, I'm probably going to say The Power of One More by Ed Milet. I listened to that. It's an audiobook. I don't really have a lot of time to sit down and read books, but I listen to audiobooks all day long while I'm working and doing my various jobs and businesses. But I listen intently, and I've listened to that book twice just because it really is all about, like, if something fails, what could you have done? Could you have done a little bit more? Could you have tried a little bit harder? Could you have put a little bit more effort? How could you have pivoted in that moment? So I think it really taught me a lot about that.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show, but that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
So many stories. Well, I can tell you this really funny story. Well, it was funny to me, but it was not funny to my husband. So, like I mentioned a minute ago, I'm a beekeeper, and so I was tending to the bees. And on this particular day, my husband decided to wear shorts. Which we never wear shorts because there's chiggers. I don't know if you've ever come across a chigger before, but they bite you and then they cause you to itch real bad. And so we always wear a certain kind of pants so that, that the chiggers won't bite us. Well, he forgot. Anyways, I'm there tending to the bees, and my bees are docile. I don't wear anything besides gloves in case I grab them, they will sting me. But they're very docile. They're friendly bees. And so I'm working with them, and I all of a sudden hear the mood of the hive change. And suddenly they're like, zzz, and they never get like that. So I was like, that's weird. And my husband was approaching, and I thought, that's so strange. Well, all of a sudden the hive became active and went over, and they started stinging him. And he was like hopping and jumping and slapping and running. And I just couldn't believe he was being stung, because I worked with these bees for a long time. And the only time you get stung is if, of course, you grab one, or like one gets like in your hair and they get tangled in there, they get scared, then they'll sting. And so it turns out this silly guy, my husband, decided to put on bug spray to keep the chiggers away, not realizing what is a bee? A bug. So the bees immediately sensed the poison and knew it was coming closer to their hive, and they were trying to protect their queen. So they were just hitting him and stinging him, and I'm standing there. They didn't sting me or do anything to me. But it was just a super hilarious story after he got in the car and stopped getting stung.
That's funny. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
I just do so many things. Like I said, the bees, I do flying, I do the nonprofit, I do nonprofit startup coaching, which is really fun. I get to hear all the different stories of all the nonprofits out there who are starting their nonprofits, and then also get to interview all those individuals who are in the nonprofit and working hard towards growing it. So that's really all there is about me, just always trying to give back and help others.
Okay. Well, do you have a Facebook or website for listeners to follow you?
Absolutely. You can find me on all social media at Cindy Witteman. You can also go to my website at CF Views. So it's C as in Cindy, F as in Frank, W as in Witteman, Views, VIEWS.com. Or you can visit the TV show at littlegift.com. And if you want to find out more about my books and everything, that's also available on cfviews.com.
Okay. Well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
No, you've done an excellent job interviewing me. I think you've done it all. I can't think of one thing that you could have asked better.
Thank you, Cindy, for being
Kudos
my
to
guest.
you.
Huh?
I said kudos to you.
Thank you. Well, do you mind sticking around for Math Corners?
Of course. Yeah, go ahead.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Tiberius's favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And thank you, Cindy, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve. Today, we're going to talk about editing a TV show. Ooh, okay. Okay, a popular TV show is hosting interviews with 3 different celebrities in one evening. Each celebrity's interview has a different duration, and the show's producer needs to plan the schedule to ensure they all fit within the allocated time slot. So here are the details. The first interview with actor A is scheduled to last 25 minutes. The second interview with musician B is scheduled to last for 40 minutes. The third interview with author C is scheduled to last for 35 minutes. Okay, so if the TV show is only 1 hour, which interviews would be used for the show and how much time is left for B-roll?
I would say A and C and none, right?
Well, let's find out. Well, first, this is a real problem because, well, I watch my dad edit my show every week, and he always has to cut some questions out, you know? So to solve this, you have to add all the interviews times in order to see if they all fit in the hour. So 25 plus 40 is 65 minutes, and you add the 35, and that gives you 100. Well, you know that's way more than 1 hour, so you take the 100, subtract the 60 minutes, and you get 40. Well, we have a 40-minute interview, which is musician B, so if we remove that interview, we will have exactly 1 hour. So the answer is actor A and author C with 0 extra time for B-roll. You were correct. Okay.
Yay!
So, Cindy, do you have to edit your show yourself and cut out some questions for time?
No, I don't edit my show myself, but I will say that 99% of all my shows do not require editing of what the guest says. I like to keep in all of the questions. I like to keep in all of the answers because the way my show goes is we start at the beginning and we have a little something about what they do overall, and then we start peeling back the onion. And we want to talk about where they started, where they're at now, and where they're going in life. And then we talk a lot about the nonprofit if there's one to be featured. And so if I were to cut out a question here or there, it might take away from the overall segment, which would not portray the guest in the full light that we're trying to portray.
Okay, well, my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math in your work?
Well, I use math by looking at the little dial at the top of the screen that tells me how many minutes I'm talking or not talking. I need to know exactly how many it is because I want to try to keep my episode down to about 45 minutes. And once we edit in the 2 commercials that are aired on every one of my episodes, and then also we do something called kindness clips, where we get people from around the world to send us a kindness clip of themselves doing something kind, or maybe they want to tell a story about when someone did something kind for them. And then we also have a clip quest segment, which is a segment which basically sends the viewer back into a previous episode to find a hidden token, and then they email me that, and then I feature them on a future show. So I know that those key components are going to need to be added after the recording is complete. So I know I need to keep my recording about 35 minutes to be able to add all that in there. So I'm constantly looking at that little dial on the screen to make sure that I don't go over that, or try not to.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Cindy, for your help with Math Corners.
Of course, happy to help. You're so awesome.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're gonna talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions, acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. During our school retreat, we had some house Olympics. Yes, kind of like Hogwarts. In order to win the Olympics, you had to compete in different challenges together. There are 10 events, and each student can only compete in 2 of them. So this last event was a tournament of chess, and this was one of my events. There were 4 rounds in the chess tournament that I was doing, and I had won 4 games, and another kid won 4 as well. Well, we normally could have just tied and given us both points, but the scoring was so close, this would have made one house the winner overall, even though both players won 4 rounds. Well, the teacher thought about it and decided to make it fair for all the houses, and that there would be a final match. So this makes it fair. This allowed everyone to enjoy the final result because it was very fair. So, Cindy, did you see or use nobility at all this week?
Yes, everything I try to do is being noble. All of the things that you mentioned whenever you're describing the lion is all things I try to do in my day-to-day life.
Okay. Well, of all the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
I would say integrity. I think that integrity is like so important because if all else fails, you always have your integrity. You just can be reliable and dependable, and integrity is so important.
Okay, well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should, 100%.
And that's our show, folks. I'm going to thank the one, the only, the amazing Cindy Witteman for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we can learn a lot about your career as a TV show host and driving single parents.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so awesome. This is so fun.
Well, do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Absolutely. So social media, you can find me at Cindy Witteman. Anywhere, I'm on all platforms under that name. If you would like to know more about my business where you can buy the books, that's cfviews.com. If you want to know more about my nonprofit, it's drivingsingleparents.org. And that's all my deets.
Okay. And also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KNT 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. Please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Cindy, are you subscribed yet?
I sure am.
Oh, and be sure to leave me a comment and say what job that you're interested in learning about. I answer all comments myself. Also, be sure to see us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.